I have time on Thursday through Sundays.
Nerd. Knows his work schedule. Not me. Not I.
My work gave me my schedule.
Is it the same days or does it fluctuate?
It is. It's the same days every week.
I wish I could say that.
It's Monday through Wednesday, 2 through 6. I also can't say the name of the place I work at now.
See, because you have to sign shit.
I didn't have to sign anything, but it was like, please don't talk about the company without our permission. So all I will say is I am a youth development professional.
And I work at McDonald's.
Devoid Wrestling Podcast. Devoid Wrestling Podcast. Devoid Wrestling Podcast. Cast it up, Micah and Derek. Well, get ready for something you will have never wanted to know. You sadly saw it coming, but I guess you should know. Devoid Wrestling Podcast.
And welcome to the Devoid Wrestling Podcast. A thing you forgot about, but a thing we also forgot about.
We have been working hard, and we have a very fun episode today.
Yes, it's the...
Did we name these?
It's the graphic Devoid Wrestling Awards. I named them.
I think they should be called the Devoidies, but that's
Nope. That sounds bad. So we have a ton of awards to give out. Some good, some bad, and the ones we disagreed on, we're gonna try to persuade the other. But the ones that we did agree on are winners. But
Yes.
Don't forget, you're all winners, but mostly losers.
Yes. Awards will come in the mail.
Yes.
If you won an award, please send us your mailing address, your credit card information, your social security number, and Vince McMahon's phone number too, if you could.
So we'll start at the bottom with the most overrated. The two candidates are Matt Jackson and Sammy Guevara.
Yes.
Now, while it is funny to say that Matt Jackson is overrated, he is, as of recording, the half of the AEW World Tag Team Champion.
Correct.
And Sammy Guevara he lost every pay-per-view match in 2020.
So, like, I had Matt Jackson as my number one.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is about Matt Jackson is that I feel like when people think of, like, the best member of the Young Bucks, they think Matt Jackson, which I despise, because I don't like Matt Jackson whatsoever.
I understand. He is second place.
He is
out of the two Young Bucks. And he is probably the worst member of the Elite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Worst member of the Elite. He was the worst member of Bullet Club. Yeah, even below Chase Owens.
But like Sammy Guevara is bad.
I will give you this. Sammy Guevara wrestled in one of the worst matches in the past year.
Two of them. Yes. Matt Jackson has wrestled in two of the best matches of the 2020.
Yes, but I can't recall a time where Matt Jackson had a singles match and people raved about it in the same way that Nick Jackson had that amazing singles match with Rey Fenix.
Which was in 2019 and does not count.
Ah, darn it. See, here's the thing, too, is that when we wrote these down and sent them to each other, It was a little bit ago. It was dated, and it is only about 2020. But if we were going to include like 2021 and the end of 2020,
nope.
Which we're not going to, but I do want to say that I think Alexa Bliss should get an honorable mention for most overrated, especially with this whole thing.
Yeah. I don't see, but like Sammy Guevara just is not like entertaining, and also legitimately hurts Matt Hardy.
Yes. Well, yes.
Like Matt Jackson is not actively bad at wrestling. Sammy Guevara just flips.
I think Sammy Guevara is actively okay at wrestling, but you know what? I will say that I think Sammy Guevara's fault is that he's too overrated and that people want him to do more and expect more from him, but he can't deliver that.
Exactly. Sammy Guevara wins most overrated 2020. All right. Our most underrated, Jurassic Express versus Tomohiro Ishii. Now, I cheated because I have 3 people against your 1. But as a collective unit and individually, I don't think Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt, and Jungle Boy have ever gotten the credit they deserve for being fucking fantastic and different. They are different wrestlers than everybody else. Luchasaurus is a big guy who can do the flippy kicks, and Marco Stunt is a small guy who you actually root for and you don't think is just a little pissant. And Jungle Boy is probably the most athletic of the athletes, and he's very athletic, and it's a little scary. And can I have some of that athleticism, please?
So Tomohiro Ishii has consistently been in the top 5 best wrestlers in New Japan for the past like 5 or 6 years. Like every time you see Tomohiro Ishii, you don't have to worry that it's going to be a bad match because it's going to be one of the better matches on the card, no matter what match it is. He could have a singles match with Toru Yano, and it would probably still be one of the better singles matches on any given card. Tomohiro Ishii, I think he's underrated because like everyone knows he's good, but he hasn't been given that chance to shine like he should. He hasn't like everyone except for New Japan has given him the credit he needs.
Yeah, but like Jungle Boy. And then also Luchasaurus, and then also Marco Stunt can sing. Found out in the year 2020.
Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed, honestly, that they didn't push Luchasaurus more specifically. I know he was hurt for a couple weeks or something.
Yeah, but also but also Jungle Boy.
I keep seeing that apparently Dax Harwood versus Jungle Boy is a really good match. Like everyone keeps saying, like, yeah, everyone is like wants to see how the fans react because they think this is going to be one of the best TV matches that AEW's done.
I don't know. I just think that individually and collectively, Jungle Express do not get the credit for being what they are, which are young people who win enough so they're credible, but they lose like big matches to like MJF and Wardlow versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, like kind of like that whole rivalry like kind of saved AEW's mid card during the summer.
Yeah, so here's my thing with the Jurassic Express as a whole. I know that Luchasaurus is one of the most underrated. I know Jungle Boy is one of the most underrated. I don't know if you can sell me on Marco Stunt.
I think that he does what he's supposed to do well, though. Like he is like the person who's going to get destroyed by Lance Archer and Wardlow and Brody Lee and etc. Big guy.
Yes. Marco Stunt annoys the shit out of me, just personally. I find Marco Stunt extremely annoying.
Yeah, but I got you on 2 out of 3, and you don't even have me on 1 out of 1. So,
do you not think Ishii is underrated at all?
I mean, yes, but like,
Ishii's so good.
There's so many other people in New Japan who are underrated, who are more underrated than him.
More under in New Japan? Who?
Well, there is Chase Owens.
No. No. Chase Owens is bad.
Tamatonga.
That's the only one you might be able to convince me on. But Tamatonga consistently has really disappointing performances in the G1 climax.
I mean, I can make the argument Kota Ibushi in 2020. In 2020.
He's literally the champion. Okay.
But not in 2020, he wasn't. Not in 2020, he lost.
The Great Okan is severely... No, I'm fucking kidding.
Yuck.
But he had that great match at Wrestle Kingdom.
In the pre-show, I'm pretty sure.
Didn't Okan face...
The
Great Okan faced Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, I'm pretty sure.
To be fair, I was like falling in and out of sleep while watching Wrestle Kingdom.
It's okay, I can tell you what happened. It was bad.
No.
Because the Great Okan is bad. And Tanahashi's great, but he's getting a little old. So, like, but like,
yeah,
Okan is bad.
So,
period.
You've convinced me on Ishii.
Okay.
Now, best promo. Winner is Eddie Kingston by a landslide.
Yeah, no. I had 3 different ones, but that was before I heard the Eddie Kingston promo. And Micah sent it to me, and I said, nah, scrap it. It's that one.
Yeah. And the best promo segment is between Eddie Kingston shooting on Progress Wrestling, which I will put in the link if you have not heard it, and Randy Orton RKO's Beth Phoenix.
I mean, we don't even have to argue about this one. The best one is Eddie Kingston
shooting on Progress.
I'm tired of making stars. Yes, absolutely.
I'm telling you, like
it's genuinely, I think, the best wrestling promo I've ever seen.
Yes. Somebody believes in me. Yes, Eddie Kingston, you are a 2-time Devoid Wrestling Award winner. Congratulations. Best angle. Now, you would be surprised between who picked these, but it's Kenny Omega wins the AEW World Championship and then fucks off to Impact against Roman Reigns is the head of the table. Now, I picked the Roman Reigns one, which is shocking to even me. I thought this was so clear cut because if we're taking in the scope of things, that was just December versus SummerSlam to end of the year, and like one of the matches you picked was in this angle, is in this angle, and that's not even the good one.
Hey now. Hey now.
I must admit, it's shocking. If we had an award for shocking moment of the year, I would give it to Kenny Omega. But Roman Reigns is actually watchable. If you told me this 2 years ago, I would say, no, you are wrong, sir.
So, like, here's the thing. If we're talking about 2020, then I guess I'd have to agree with you because the direction that is the Kenny Omega winning the AEW World Championship and then fucking off to Impact angle is still like kind of going on, just like on AEW now with the Good Brothers and the Bucks and whatever that whole thing was last week with like Don Callis like being at Kenny's house and Kenny not being there or whatever. But like the I think and pardon the pun, the impact of the initial Kenny Omega winning the title, running off with Don Callis and saying, we'll see you on Impact. That was like a genuine big wrestling moment, period.
I understand what you're saying, but Roman Reigns turned heel. They've never done this before. WWE themselves has never turned their top star heel.
It's true.
They have had their top babyface do heelish things, but they have never fully been heel. And Roman Reigns is still the top person in the company. Like, this is huge for WWE.
It's like if they turned John Cena heel in 2010.
Yes. Or maybe sooner, because I think Roman Reigns is still very early in his career.
That's true. Although we know Roman's a good heel too, because if you've ever scrolled through Reddit for a second, you'll find someone posting the "I'm rich Roman Reigns, look at my big watch" promo.
It's the big watch.
The big watch. I think I'll agree with you on this one.
I'm undefeated. If you would.
Can I give a shout out to my number 2, because I do think this should be mentioned because of the scope of 2020, which was Randy Orton goes on a year-long attempted murder spree, which hasn't stopped yet. Yet. He did RKO Alexa Bliss at the end of Raw, so
for the worst angle. Lana and Bobby Lashley up against Goldberg being Universal Champion. Now, we literally had a fight about this, Derek. That you said that this was the worst match. This is also the worst thing that happened in wrestling. This was everything this was everything confirmed.
No. I have to heavily disagree with you, because the Lana and Bobby Lashley storyline, I think, is the worst thing that has ever happened to 4 different people in wrestling ever. This was the worst thing to happen to Lana. This was the worst thing to happen to Lashley. This is the worst, maybe besides the sisters thing. This is the worst thing to happen to Miro, and this is the worst thing to happen to Liv Morgan.
Yeah, but Goldberg was Universal Champion.
So here's the thing. The Goldberg being Universal Champion angle sort of sidetracked and stopped one person's career, which was The Fiend. But the Lana and Bobby Lashley thing, hindered 4 different people's career.
No, it didn't, because Bobby Lashley is United States Champion right now.
Yeah, because he got away from that angle.
Yeah, but Lana got away from the angle and she sucks. Miro left the company.
Lana's still doing bad stuff. Lana was in my number 2 as well.
I mean, I'm trying to argue that this is a 2019 crossover event, because that's when it really started. And so the whole thing did not happen in 2020. While Goldberg just defeated. Derek, you were there. You were there when Roman Reigns just accepted it. Come on. It's such a bad idea to have a 50-something-year-old be your world champion. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Drew, but come on, we're all a little afraid.
Here's the thing, right? Is that I'm kind of used to it at this point from WWE. I'm used to the boring, useless pushing of people like Goldberg and people like The Undertaker. It's not something that's oh wow, okay. When I watched it, I was like, oh, great, okay, whatever. But every week actively, when I watched the Lana and Bobby Lashley bullshit, I was actively this is the worst thing I've ever seen on television.
Yeah, all right, I'll agree with you. But you have to admit that mine is definitely the contender.
Goldberg should stop.
Yes.
Goldberg, I am starting beef with Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, you need to stop. Stop it. Your kids are getting embarrassed. Okay, anyways.
We're just going to combine these two because it's the same thing. The best weekly TV show and the best overall company, AEW/AEW Dynamite.
Yes.
Consistently, in the face of the pandemic, the best.
Yeah.
Set the stage for how to do pandemic show. Right. Did not have totally empty arena. Not made it awkward because if you watch back anything of WrestleMania, it's weird.
Yeah. It's everything after the first SmackDown, because that first SmackDown was just The first SmackDown was kind of just like an episode of SNL for 2 hours on Friday.
That's the one where
With
Triple H
wrestling.
was just fucking around with Michael Cole.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was one of my favorite episodes of SmackDown this year.
Yeah.
Especially because like there was that part that was Triple H fucking around, and then there was the people who didn't have commercials just watching them stop wrestling during commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's hilarious.
The biggest disappointment, the New Japan Cup and subsequently Dominion versus everything regarding Money in the Bank. Now, while I agree that New Japan didn't start off well, Money in the Bank is an established thing that they completely fucked up.
Now, I have to ask you, when you say everything revolving Money in the Bank, do you mean like the show, the match, or the briefcase?
Yes, that's the problem. The card was weird. The match was weird. The people who had the briefcases didn't really have the briefcases because Asuka won the women's championship just randomly, and Otis isn't even the person anymore, and they don't even give a fuck. And the match was weird. It was in a building, like it was Die Hard. They really tried. They really tried, but it was just that bad.
But the card, it was a little weird, but like Seth versus Drew was really good. That was on Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but then like not Apollo Crews versus MVP was weird. It was just weird.
So like here's this too. In defense of mine, which is the New Japan Cup and subsequently Dominion. Everyone knows that New Japan's great. It's just great. The thing is about New Japan is that people were really excited for New Japan to come back. And then they focused on Evil for some reason. I think really saying the New Japan Cup and subsequently Dominion should really just be the push of Evil. Because why?
They were trying to make a new star.
It's like, okay. Here's my thing. It's I'm not gonna say Jinder Mahal vibes, but it's big JBL vibes, where it's like all of a sudden, this guy who we've known as a mid-carder, someone who doesn't win a whole lot, all of a sudden has won the New Japan Cup and then wins the title the next night. Like, good on them for trying to make a new star. Don't have it be someone who's pretty much already been established as a mid-card guy who like sometimes wins tag matches.
I get it, but like that match is weird, dude. Like they just try. Like why was there commentary? Like what? Like I just feel like that match was weird.
Let me ask you, what do you think is better? Two guys getting thrown off of a roof or Evil beating Naito?
But like Otis didn't even like they like treated Otis like a joke while he was like basically number one contender. And then that dude TLC, they fucked that up so much. Like what?
I will admit, I think the messiest part about Money in the Bank and this whole series has been the briefcase.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like there was a court case about it.
There was a court case. Like they stole Otis's Money in the Bank briefcase, and then Otis was like, "Actually, that's where I keep my lunch. I keep the contract in the lunchbox."
And then they stole the lunchbox, and it was like in a smaller lunchbox. I'll give it to you if you can just admit that the match was weird, and they knew it was going to be weird, and they just kind of did it.
I'll admit the match was weird, but personally, I won't say it was bad.
Okay.
The match was weird, but I like weird, and I enjoyed that a lot.
Okay, cool. Biggest return, Edge. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's such a no-brainer.
Can I make an argument for Eric Redbeard? No, I'm kidding.
You could. You would be wrong. Biggest upset, Leon Ruff wins the North American Championship against Brody Lee squashes Cody. Now, when did we make this? Did we make this before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, even in hindsight, I mean, Brody Lee squashed the EVP and he basically did what everyone thought Lance Archer was going to do, like squash. And it really transformed the way that people took the Dark Order, because after Brody Lee lost at Double or Nothing, it was kind of weird. It was really strange. And we'd never seen that from Cody, like Indie, New Japan, AEW, Cody. We'd never seen him like that. It makes sense that Johnny Gargano would be pompous, but Cody wasn't being pompous. He was just it turned into a blood feud.
Yes, but here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Ruff still won the title.
We're essentially picking the same thing, but different things.
What,
shock title wins is what we're picking.
But I don't think Brody Lee winning the title was a shock.
But it wasn't that he won. It was a squash on a Saturday.
I guess the squash is a little bit of a surprise, but even then, shouldn't a really angry and goal hungry Brody Lee just try to murder whoever's in his way?
Yeah, but wouldn't heel Johnny Gargano underestimate a smaller person, himself being a small person?
Here's the thing, is that I think that was Leon Ruff's first win, period, in WWE. I'm pretty sure that was the first time he had won a match at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, whoa, okay. Because
Yeah.
Leon Ruff at the beginning of 2020 was one of the, we need a jobber to fight someone on the empty SmackDown arena show. Whereas Brody Lee was still a character and was still, in world title contention. Whereas Leon Ruff, literally when he comes on screen, you could go take a bathroom break because it's a squash match.
All right, Leon Ruff can win. I'll give it to him.
Okay.
We'll start with the best pay-per-view.
Okay.
AEW Revolution. Clear cut.
Yep.
Best match on that card, easily Jake Hager versus Dustin Rhodes.
Yep. Best match ever, honestly.
Yeah, six stars, I'm pretty sure. It got no, that card is amazing, top to bottom.
Oh yeah.
Worst pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure it's clear cut. It was WWE The Horror Show at Extreme Rules.
I don't think it's clear cut. We should talk about this.
It was your number 2, though.
It was my number 2.
Yes, but it was.
But Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia was fucking awful.
It wasn't in my top 3, and it was in your top 3.
It was my number 1, almost by a country mile. That was the worst thing to happen in wrestling, period, this past year, was Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia.
More like super spreader event. That happened pre-COVID. Yeah, but the Horror Show at Extreme Rules featured half of a DQ match and the eye for an eye match. It wasn't good.
So
and didn't your boy Mansoor win against Cesaro in a match that didn't suck?
Mansoor, I think he faced Cesaro at this show. But Mansoor just wins. I don't think Mansoor's lost a singles match, period, in WWE yet.
In Saudi Arabia.
No, in general. In general. He's been undefeated since being on NXT and stuff.
I thought he lost on 205 Live.
No, he's been winning on 205 Live.
Well,
he beat who'd he beat recently? He beat one of Escobar's boys recently.
Okay. I understand. But the eye for an eye match is probably one of the worst things I've seen.
So it was one of the worst stipulations. I'll give you that. The match in general was good. Like, it was pretty much just a good Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio match.
Yeah, but it was an angle to set up Dominic Mysterio's debut.
Yeah,
if you really think about it.
Yeah, but Dominic's debut has been perfect, and there's been nothing wrong with any Dominic angle.
Yeah, but like,
Ever.
it was just, I don't know.
It's like, the horror show at Extreme Rules was bad, and when I think of how bad it was, I immediately think of the fucking swamp fight.
That's another thing that was really bad too.
I can't think, like, even with the Mansoor match, I can't think of like a like enjoyable thing that happened at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia.
I get it. Like, it wasn't good, but like,
it was not good.
All right, you're right. It's bad. It wasn't on my list because I didn't think about it.
Yeah,
it's not a pay-per-view, it's a network exclusive, but whatever.
But Goldberg won the Universal title.
Yeah. Worst match. The Fiend versus Goldberg. Can we please move on?
Yes. Do we have to talk about Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia at any other point? No? Wonderful.
Cool. The best match. The Best Friends versus Pride and Powerful versus FTR and the Young Bucks.
So I will admit that my perspective is a little biased based off of how much I dislike Matt Jackson.
Right. But it should not be but it should also be biased for your love for Nick Jackson. So it cancels each other's out and you're unbiased. This was a perfect match. Like, the Pride and Powerful and Best Friends match was very good. Like, very good. But this match upped how tag team... This is a match that has been building for years cross companies. This match was thought of before AEW was a thing. These are the two best tag teams possibly ever going at it for the first time.
I'll give you ever for FTR. I'm just not sold on ever for the Young Bucks.
In terms of like accomplishments.
In terms of accomplishments, sure. It would be hard for me, honestly, because like when I think of best match of the year, like my immediately thoughts is the matches that I thought that I really liked and that were great for like my tastes. But I think I would be sitting here and acting a fool if I tried to convince you that Best Friends versus Pride and Powerful was a subjectively, that's the one that's like not opinion, right? Subjectively.
Yeah.
That match is subjectively better than FTR and Young Bucks.
Like, most fun match of the year, probably that. But like
I think
but like wrestling match, as in terms of like
a
story, it went from top to bottom and like spots planned out.
Right.
Like spots and stuff, because like that match is very good.
Yeah.
And stuff. But like Young Bucks and FTR absolutely killed it. Like match of the night bar none.
I do have to say that Best Friends and Pride and Powerful sort of scratched an itch of sort of a vibe that I've been missing from wrestling for a while. It scratched the itch very well for that kind of match.
Yes.
Which is why I think I think it is one of the best matches of the year. I had it as my number one. But yeah, no, I think I'd be acting a fool and disappointing the entire wrestling community if I tried to argue that.
Worst overall wrestler. Now, we do not have best overall wrestler because that's not fair, but it's very easy to think about who the worst wrestler is. Pretty sure we have the same number one.
Number one.
Yeah.
Well,
I have Nia Jax.
So like I had Lana, but I will firmly say Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Because I had a whole ass argument with someone on Reddit today about Nia Jax. because someone was like, everyone's got to stop freaking out about the bump Dana Brooke took on Raw last night. I was like, that's a dangerous move. Nia shouldn't be allowed to pick up anybody, because whenever Nia Jax like physically touches another wrestler, they get injured more often than not.
Yeah. The thing against Kairi Sane, the whole thing
Kairi Sane with Becky, where she like concussed Becky and like it forced the Survivor Series match to change.
Oh yeah, and that wasn't this year, nor was it last year, but like
right. But like just like talking about Nia Jax in general, she might be the worst wrestler of all time, honestly. Honestly. She should not have ever been anywhere near a title. And while they were the best matches of her career, from a strictly business standpoint, she should not have been anywhere near Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Best female wrestler.
Can I give a shout out to worst wrestler? Again, because I'm starting beef with you. Bill Goldberg, you need to stop. You are bad. You're bad at this. Stop it.
You are bad at the wrestling. All right. Sasha Banks versus Bayley.
I remember that match. It happened at the completely wrong pay-per-view and the build was rushed. Anyways. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who I picked. But I'm pretty sure I picked Bayley, right?
Well, like my 1, 2, and 3 are Sasha, Bayley, Io Shirai.
Yeah, and I have Bayley, Sasha, Io Shirai. So we agree that number 3 is Io Shirai.
Shout out to the spot where she jumped off of the cage inside of a trash can.
Sasha Banks did well in the second half. Bayley did well the whole time.
Sasha Banks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like all of 2020 was basically spent building to the Bayley Sasha feud. And I would have, a couple years ago, I would have been the first person to tell you that Sasha was overrated. I think Sasha has really come into her own this past year. And I think even with all the Bayley stuff, Sasha was the one who shined from all that the most. I think, yeah, Bayley was amazing. Bayley was excellent. Bayley was an awesome heel champion. But a lot of that build was like, Sasha is also fantastic. And we're going to prove it by having her be fantastic the whole year. Like between like Sasha basically being the only reason Bayley won matches while Bayley was women's champion, to beating Asuka, which I mean, sure, she's not in NXT anymore, but beating Asuka is like, beating Asuka is no small feat.
That's a fair point. All right, you convinced me.
Great. I figured it wouldn't be hard to make my argument since it was literally just our 1s and 2s were flipped around.
Yeah. And our best male wrestler of the year is Kenneth Omega.
Yeah.
He might be a piece of shit, but he's A-okay in my book here today.
Yeah, that's not really an argument, I think.
Yeah,
Kenny,
he's been champion for most of the year in one form or another.
Yeah.
Like in AEW, not even like the AAA, whatever.
I don't even think you can point to a moment of 2020 where Kenny Omega wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
The whole year.
What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. What would you rate all of these things?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this year. We'll see you next year.
Yeah.